So this weekend I actually had time to fill up on the series and on the movie. And honestly, I gotta say, both actresses deserve their flowers. And I think the story in general, even with small changes, is still a pretty good one, albeit a very sad one. So this is why Tita de la Garza is somebody who definitely deserved better. Basically, her backstory is that her mom was miserably married to a dude that she didn't fucking like because her mom wouldn't let her pick who she wanted. And her mom's name is Mama Elena. Anyway, Mama Elena had Rosaura, their older sister, and then she had Hitudis, who actually came from an affair with a black guy. And her husband was pissed at her and everything. So one night when he was drunk, he raped Mama Elena, and Tita was the product of that. On top of that, he killed Mama Elena's lover, and then Mama Elena got her lick back, at least in the series, by making a snake bite him and abandoning him to die. So Tita gets treated like absolute shit, never felt any love from her mother. Literally the only person who loved her was the chef and a couple of the other servants, who treated her pretty well. She was always playing third fiddle to her sisters, and she just did not have a good time. When she fell in love with someone, Pedro, he couldn't marry her because Mama Elena decided that since Tita was the youngest, she was going to stay home and take care of her. In both versions, Pedro goes and marries Rosaura because he wants to be with her. And that's the only way he could rationally see himself doing it, Not taking his girl to the train station and running off with her. Not, going against Mama Elena's wishes and marrying Tita. He didn't fucking do anything. That motherfucker wanted his cake and eating it, but he'll get his video. Anyway, Tita proceeds to have a really sad life because her sister ends up getting pregnant and having a baby. She can't breastfeed the baby, but Tita ends up being able to breastfeed the baby for some reason. Eventually, Rosaura and Pedro have to run away because it turns out that Pedro was working with some rebels. And eventually the ranch gets raided a couple of times to the point where some servants go, yeah, fuck this shit, we're out. Eventually, Mama Elena gets hers. And Rosaura and Pedro come back. They end up having a daughter who Tita takes care of. But Rosaura declares that her daughter is gonna be the only, since she's the youngest, since the oldest passed away, was never going to marry and was going to take care of her. Tita's horrified by this and does her best to advocate for Esperanza, the daughter, to have a better future and a better life than she could have had. Eventually, Rosaura dies from quote-unquote food poisoning. We see you. And her and Pedro, when Esperanza is old enough to get married and start her own family, bang. And Pedro ends up dying of a heart attack. Tita, heartbroken, eats a whole box of matches. Now, the series has not gone that far yet, so that could change, but I very much doubt they'll change it a lot. Anyway, Esperanza comes back from her honeymoon to find the ranch in flames, and the only thing that survived was the cookbook that Tita had. And that book apparently has been passed down from Esperanza to her daughter, who is actually telling the story in the movie. And yeah, Tita deserved way better. Mama Elena, I understand that she's supposed to be a complex villain, but Lord, if this girl didn't suffer. Also, Rosaura's a pygmisha and will be featured on our Pygmishas in telenovela series.